So we came to the boat show to have a look around. We had absolutely no intention of doing a boat review, but after walking on the new Leopard 46, we decided to share our totally unbiased opinion. So please excuse the footage taken around all the other admirers. We will not be talking about anything technical. This is purely a look at the inside and outside, making comments of the differences between our Leopard 50 and the new 46. The layout changes, the upgrades that Leopard have made to the look and the feel. Basically, the liveaboard appeal of the 46.
Okay, so the cabin in this boat, remember we're comparing with the Leopard 50, so we're always going to say it feels a little bit smaller, but the cabin in this boat is absolutely fantastic. There's nothing in it that you can't live in. I mean, the bed might be a little bit smaller, but I can't imagine that it's more than 3 or 4 centimeters smaller. A wonderful thing about this boat, about the 46, are the windows. If you have a look at the windows, they're much taller, or they certainly seem much taller. And additionally, the blinds, as you can see, are hidden. Now, in all the previous boats, the blinds were just the concertina, simple, dumb, drop-down blinds, whereas these now are similar to those in the Saloon, which are the professional blinds which stop at any level. They don't just hang loosely. And, of course, the other thing is they block out. So, which is a big thing all of the owners have complained about. When I was at the V&A in Cape Town, and we had a ton of new owners coming through, everyone was going, oh, we want to upgrade our blinds to block out. This is exactly what they should have always had. This is a fantastic upgrade. However, I do notice that they've still got the Lumar windows. That's a problem. We'll talk about that later, but the Lumar windows are lovely to look at when they're new. But the fact that they corrode, if you have a look at our previous video, is still a problem. I know that Leopard are working on it. They're trying to find a solution. So one of the other things, we spoke to a guy who's involved in the design, and he said one of the ways they've tried to reduce a little bit of weight, it wouldn't have lost a lot, but at least they're thinking about it, is previously there would have been a side to this cupboard in the same way as there's a side here. It would have had a side, and then there would have been a side to this cupboard. So you would have had 2 pieces of plywood here. Now you only have one. And that definitely, I felt the weight of this stuff. It can be quite heavy. Certainly when they built our utility room, which was not Leopard, somebody else built the utility room, but they bought all of this from Leopard, or from the factory, and it's heavy. So the more of this they can get rid of, the better. Then when you have a look at the sliding door, I'm not sure compared to the 45 or the 42, but they've reduced the thickness of this almost by half. So the weight, I can feel the weight of this is much less. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing from the point of view of you don't need it to be an inch thick. This is probably about 12 mil thick, about 12 mil thick, and it's absolutely fine. They've got the same setup over here for the vanity. We know that a lot of owners are going to choose to put shelves in over here. We know Happy Together did it, we did it. You don't really need a vanity, but it's a personal choice thing, so nothing wrong with that. From a space point of view, they still have the drawer under the bed, which is wonderful. They've got 3 drawers now, and they're much wider over here as opposed to the 2, I think it was, which was lower. So this is a way better setup than even than our Leopard 50. From a cupboard space point of view, we think they're pretty much the same in total from a hanging space perspective. Perhaps a little bit less because we've got 2 hanging spaces in our Leopard 50, and again we're comparing with the Leopard 50, so the right thing really to do is to compare with the Leopard 45, and I think you're going to find this has got better space.
And the drawers under
yep, and 2 drawers below, 2 of the regular drawers. I'm pretty sure the lower drawer will be even narrower just because of the let's see, because of the shape of the boat. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's a shoe cupboard.
Yeah, more of a shoe thing.
That's stunning.
Okay. Coming through, people are going to come. Coming through to the heads. The heads is lovely. Again, it's smaller than the Leopard 50, but it's as big as it needs to be. The toilet space, you can actually, I know this is not great, but if you want to sit in the toilet, legs wide open, you've got more space here than in the Leopard 50. And the vanity basin area is also fantastic. These cupboards.
I love the handles on the cupboards.
Definitely better than the handles that we have at the moment. So this is
have handles.
then the no handle
you've got
situation.
Fingerprints all over.
Correct.
the
Yeah. So this is a massive improvement. This basin as well, the fact that they've gone, I've always thought they should do this. They should overlap the basin so that if you have got moving water and underway, it's hitting underneath here. Right now ours matches the edge, and in theory it can come over. Not that we've had it, and not that that's commonplace, but this makes sense. The shower setup here, absolutely more than enough, and the fantastic part about it compared to the 50 is they've got the shower door. And I can feel
the 45 has a shower door too.
Oh, does the 45 have the door? Yeah, okay. Our current 50 doesn't have the shower door. So look, I fancy our space because it's quite a lot bigger, but it doesn't need to be more big.
This is beautiful. It's the I think it's stunning.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And you've got to remember what they've done over the 45 is they've squeezed another cabin forward like the 50. So you would have thought, and they've done it well because you're not short of space here at all. Not short of space. This is the perfect size for a cabin. This is fantastic. So this is the fantastic thing about the 46. They've added on this starboard forward a guest cabin, which they have on the 50. And a massive improvement. We've got lots of problems with our sliding doors. A massive improvement is this is not a sliding door, it's actually an opening and closing doors. Our sliding door isn't held properly with magnets. It's got magnets, but there's not enough force, so they slam when we're underway and they rip the fitting out. They're going to be fixing that at Fort Lauderdale now when we go down, but they've now got this, and it is just, I can't stress how much better this is than the sliding door, and even from a privacy point of view. Then from a storage point of view, they've got exactly the same size storage as we got on the 50.
It's a very deep cupboard, that our one is.
Yes, correct. So we often find that the coat hangers don't fit. The width of the coat hanger is more than the cupboard, but here it looks like you're not going to have that problem. From the rest of the cabin point of view, it's very much like the 50. It looks like the bed may be a bit narrower, but in my opinion, the beds in the 50 are way bigger than they need to be. So this is perfect. The lights are better, much better lights than the ones that they've currently got on the ceiling, so that's a great improvement. And then they've still got the same drawers under the bed at the foot of the bed as they've got on the 50. So this cabin is not inferior at all to the cabin, the starboard forward cabin in the 50. In fact, I would venture to say because of that door, it's superior to the cabin on our Leopard 50. Coming into the heads, here's where ours is maybe a little better just from a space point of view. But remember, they've squeezed two cabins in the starboard hull of effectively the replacement for the 45. So it's fantastic. So no problem here from a functional point of view with regard to using the toilet. No problem from a functional point of view with regard to using the basin. And again, they've got this wonderful overlap. It really is great. Let's just see what they've got here. Yeah, that's more than enough for some shaving cream.
This is a nice option. The salt and the fresh.
Yeah, salt and fresh. That's actually a must in my opinion.
You don't have to go under the floor like
Absolutely.
we do. Just switch over.
Absolutely. And then also nice is over here they've got a place you can put shampoo and what have you. And then to be honest, the shower is a bit small, but it's totally functional. And again, I only think it's small because I'm comparing with ours. But remember, they squeezed this cabin in and done a darn good job of it into what's effectively the 45. Really fantastic. Okay. Moving port forward, I've got to say I'm tremendously impressed with the port forward area, and the reason is they've grouped things properly. So as you move into the space at the bottom of the gangway, the companionway, you move in, and on the outboard side you've got the washer. Oh, actually yes. Even before we do that, at the bottom of the space, it's the most wonderful linen cupboard you can imagine. I mean, this is just absolutely fantastic and a wonderful use of space.
Or even grocery cupboard.
Or whatever, but I mean, they got it as linen, and I think this would be a perfect spot for linen. But
next to the washing machine, I think that's a better linen.
Exactly. And then right here, as you go through this bulkhead, you've got the washing machine space, and around it, a ton of cupboard space. I mean, this is way better than we've even got on the 50. There's not even a question about this. I'm totally envious. That's a lot of space up there, the same sort of space over here, and it goes back, it's probably 30 centimeters high, and it's going back a little bit more than 50 centimeters.
There's your linen cupboard.
And again, yeah, possibly. I mean, you use it whatever way you want. It's just a lot of storage space. And the same thing under here. So this lot of space is fantastic. On the inboard side, there's another cupboard which is similar to the one that we've got in our utility room. So it's diagonal at the bottom, so it's not perfect for hanging. I would be putting 2 or 3 sets of drawers in here. So this cupboard is about 1.2 meters high. At the top half, it's probably about 50 centimeters deep, and then from there it narrows to nothing. So definitely I'd be putting at least 2 drawers in there and trying to find a use for the bottom half.
There's no light in here.
Yeah,
which
that's
makes it
a
very
point.
dark. I can hardly see what's going on.
Yeah, that's
in
actually a point. There is no light in here, so maybe it's an aftermarket thing, or perhaps the factory needs to make a point. Definitely, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, this is a sunny day and it's rather dark in here. There's sun streaming in down the stairs and sun from the utility room. Coming into the utility room is not a lot different from the utility room that the factory give you in the Leopard 50. It's a fantastic thing that now finally for couples buying the 45 replacement, that they can actually get the utility room. Now, we did something very different in the utility room. Hi there. We did something very different in our utility room, so we look at it through our eyes of having a huge amount of space. But this has got much the same sort of space. So underneath here,
it's very functional.
Underneath here, yeah, it's functional. Underneath here, there's space for tins and cans and what have you. Then moving up, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawers. Now remember, we brought ours far up and we closed it off in the front here so that we got a lot of space. Moving around this side, you've got this big space over here. I mean, you could almost put small dive bottles under there. It's so big. Then over here, sort of regular shelf space, which is not very deep. It's about 15, but it is what it is. They've got something behind here, something technical, so you can lift the shelf. And they don't have a lip on the front, so somebody might want to put a lip on the front, but yeah, we'd see if that's possible. And then another little continuation of the same thing. So you've got 3 doors with exactly the same thing. And then over here, this door is going into the forepeak. And I mean, obviously you can still get to the forepeak from the hatch above, but you might prefer to be accessing something here.
A lot of people use that as a kid's
correct. I think they probably will have an option to turn that into an extension of
crew bed or a
crew bed.
Kid's bunk
I mean, they've obviously got an option for this as a utility room or a cabin, except for charter. I mean, I just don't even understand. I mean, I know a lot of people on the 50s take this as a cabin, and then they end up with water makers jammed under the bed and all of the rest of it. Unless you've got a lot of people living on the boat, oh man, a utility room is the way. And quite frankly, hang on a second, look at this. They've got space above here, so they've used, I mean, not that it's a heck of a lot of space, but it is space. I mean, it feels like they've got something, what have they got here? Yeah, there's something else they've got installed behind, I can't see, so there's not, even though it looks like there's, what's that, about 8 centimeters on the floor here, there's really only about 4 or 5. But it's fantastic.
And there's a big cupboard under the...
Yes, yeah, okay, absolutely right.
Another big monster.
Yeah, so that's good. And then, of course, there's space, as we do, the additional space down in the hole under that little floor hatch over there. So moving into port aft, there's an electrical area over here that
that's got just a covered door on it.
Yeah, which is absolutely far better.
Yeah.
They've still got the ability to screw it closed, but it's a much better way of doing it than what we've got, which is the taking it off.
So hang on a second. That's really nice.
People are coming. Okay. Good morning. So. Of course, the space here is a little narrower than the 50, but I think this is at least what the 45 gives you. And again, they've got the head is absolutely gorgeous. I've got no problem with this. There's nothing that is negative. In fact, it looks more modern, looks more refreshed. I like the little additional porthole area around the window, around the porthole. Yeah, I mean, they've used a different way for the water to fall in. you know, the big surround like they do with their forward cockpit in the 50 and the 45. The water just runs out that way. I like it as well. And then again, right next to the shower, you've got a space to put your shampoos and what have you, which is fantastic. Coming through behind the door is a cupboard. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. And again, this cabin is more than functional. There's a lot less space at the bottom of the bed than the 50, so I can't compare with the 45. But this is probably in line with what the 45 is at least. Again, the large windows at the back, fantastic. Yeah, the blinds in these cabins, fantastic. The new lamps, much better. The look and feel, I mean, even the panel on the side there, which is a soft, gentle fabric, you see, is quite a different look, and it's quite beautiful. Yeah, they've got the shelf running all the way from the front of the cabin to the back of the cabin. So a big change is here, the saloon. Of course, this is the biggest and most notable change, and it's the fact that they've got the sliding door which opens all the way, which means that they've no longer got a bench at the fore part of the aft deck or at the aft part of the saloon. And at first I thought that might be a bit of a downside, but it's definitely not, because if you close that sliding door with their loose bench, with that loose bench against the sliding door, you can now still sit forward and lean up against that, especially if you've got a cushion. And the same thing over here, when you've got the bench over here, if you've got that sliding door closed, you've still got that choice. You can lean up against that. But what you don't have is the unpleasant view that we have on the other boats of trying to get through to the other side. You've got the choice of leaving it off or having it there, which is a much better choice. There we go. All right, so they've got a couple of doors. I think it looks like they've got 3. Is it? I'm not sure.
The first thing that you'll notice is the beautifully rounded edges of the cabinetry. It makes the inside very modern. The windows that go right down to the outside deck, we are so envious. Kevin has always said that the windows needed to be just like this. It's great to see that the gas appliances have also been changed to electric. Another fantastic upgrade is that the saloon seating is no longer a U-shape. We removed the starboard leg of the bench on Utopia, and we are very glad we did.
Breakers are down here now. Oh, right, yes. They've got batteries in here.
Even the compression post has been rounded. The nav station chair is also way better than the ottoman that we have. This is really a lovely boat.
So this chair is our main space on Utopia. The forward cockpit is nice. The top lounge is nice, but this is where we are every morning when we have our coffee facing backward. And they have made a massive improvement on this. Okay, this one's a bit tight. I'm not sure why, but the point is I've now moved it back to the sitting position. The cushion alone is a fantastic thing. So right now we've got to lift the entire cushion, and in fact, to get to what's in here, we take the entire back out. But they've also designed it so that when you do open this, the entire thing opens. I mean, we normally get a little gap like that, and we've got to try work in that gap. But this here, so there's full access to this over here. Full access. So I'm kind of figuring this makes putting the life raft over here acceptable, because you can now get to it and you can now pull it out the back. Whereas the way it is at the moment on the previous models, there's a lip at front. You can't even get the life raft out of that lip, and that's why everybody puts it on the starboard aft side to throw it from there. But this, you can see here, I can pull this and get it out. So this is actually now in all Leopards the exact space that you want there. You might want to, on the bigger Leopards, install it that way, so you've got some additional space over here, or install it over, have it sat over there, so you've got additional space over there. But this, that strut is strong. This is far better, but it's just a much improved situation. There we go. The only criticism I've got, and everything about this is just 1,000 times better than the old models, is this just needs to move back and forward. It gets stuck there, but otherwise fantastic. Moving up to the helm, they've got much better little lights all over this boat than they had before. They're more discreet, but yet enough to do the job that they're meant to do. They've also got this back, which they don't have on any of the previous boats, but which we put on Utopia. So again, a far better situation here with regard to cushions. They've upgraded the seat, the helm seat, to a much more modern looking seat, and that's great.
A much more comfortable seat too.
Yeah, the winch arrangement and the clutch arrangement looks the same. I still recommend that they put the thick pole at the front, not the skinny little, I don't know what that is, a 32 or maybe not even a 40. You can see they've got the big pole at the back, much thicker pole. This is closer to a 60 mil, and then the 35 or 36 mil at the front. And one of the reasons is whatever cabling you have up here, whatever wiring, they had to upgrade ours in order to be able to get it down into the cabin through that one over there. So it just looks a little bit slight. There we go. In fact, the roof is wobbling a little bit, as you can see. I think it'll stabilize when you've got the clears on it. But definitely, it's hardly wobbling at the back, a bit more wobble at the front. So my suggestion is they upgrade this, but it's a small issue. I'm not going to talk about the electric part of this because we know nothing about it. We've had a little bit of a thumbs up from the skipper that drove it up here. He loves it, but we know bugger all about it. But for the rest, it feels very similar. This upgraded wheel, this wheel is fantastic. It feels great. There's a bit of a cleaner look out front here. I mean, that really feels very slight, and I kind of would think that the bigger ones even would feel more like you're operating a boat. But the skipper that we know that brought it up said, at the beginning he was skeptical, but he got used to it and said, no, it's not actually that bad. He said it's very weird when you trying to maneuver the boat, say either starboard forward with port aft, not actually hearing an engine. He said, but you get used to that as well. So over here, they've got some steps, but they're so tastefully done. So the side of the side of the coach roof seems wider and deeper, which I think gives it a more beefy look. The other upgrade we've heard about, I'm assuming I'm correct, is that the windows are no longer perspex; they're real, genuine glass. That adds weight, but it's a trade-off. I would be going for the glass if I had the choice.
And they don't have this black The black side here.
Yes, they've taken that away by doing
So
a
it's
diagonal
completely
window,
open,
and I
yeah.
think it's a way better thing. And oh, by the way, an absolute huge improvement, which we sort of felt was a bit of a downside of our Leopard 50, is the windows come right down to the deck. Massive improvement, which means inside you're getting a clear look at the water right near you. Whereas inside our Leopard 50, we've got more than 30 centimeters of plastic or fiberglass or whatever you want to call it above the deck before we actually get to see down. If you're a short person, you can't see down. So the forward cockpit arrangement is as good as it can be and as it should be. And in fact, in a way, it's better because the stairs start far forward. So you're utilizing the stairs way before you get into the cockpit, so that by the time you get to the bottom stair, you're hardly even in the cockpit, whereas our stairs come down briefly into the cockpit. So this is what Leopard is about for us. We bought the Leopard for the front door. Let me tell you, it's not just a safety feature. When you're working on deck, and Melinda does, and she's got all sorts of stuff happening, and we've had crew, wild winds, and the spinnaker flapping around and going crazy. But it's also just an unbelievable thing from a lifestyle point of view, just from a regular daily living point of view, and also from a wind point of view. The amounts of draft we get through when we're at anchor, we try and imagine living without this front door. We never want to think about it.
You know, one thing that's on here that's just fantastic for me
Yeah?
is the trampoline at the back here is fixed underneath this lip. So whenever I'm on deck and I need to get you and I've got to stand on this thing here,
Yeah.
it is so painful to stand on those trampoline things. Now they put them underneath them. So
Yeah.
you can stand here safely
Yeah.
and comfortably
I
without
see that.
hurting
I
your
see
feet.
that. I've hurt myself as well, and this is
that is
also.
very,
Yeah,
very,
well,
very
I didn't see
clever.
that at first, so
Yeah.
well done on that. It's a
That's
lovely
very
improvement.
clever.
Absolutely lovely improvement. In our opinion, the top lounge is a vast improvement as well, and the reason is that you basically got 4 sides to sit on, or call it 3.5 if you wish. We've only got 2 sides, the 2 sides of our L. But what they've done here is they've raised this enough that it's also at much the same level as the seat over here. So you've got seating here, and you also have seating here. So again, you've got seating all 4 sides, or at least let's call it 3.5 sides around the table, which is an amazing improvement. They've got the solar panels more built into the boat, and I think that's wonderful because they don't have to have this top lounge all the way back. So by pulling it forward, they've allowed these additional panels to be built on. I'm not sure what I see that the Traveller has gone right over that. It's a bit of a pity that it couldn't have been moved, but they needed to go right over that. You can see that it comes straight through from. Actually, having a look here, they haven't got a Traveller and main sheet scenario. They've really just got a main sheet that the way they've set it up, they're able to run it. I can see now where we've got the main sheet central, and then the Traveller running left and right. They've got it all in one. In fact, they've labeled it that way over here. So instead of having 3 lines to work with, you've only got 2. But I'm not sure how to get around it. But moving this lounge forward, having these additional solar panels, because you can still, like regular boats, add on a solar arch. They're giving you, around another 2 kilowatts. I believe now they've got a solar panel which is nearly 5, but it's a very long panel. It's about a 2.2. So I wouldn't be wanting to go that far back. I would want to still use the 1.8 or the 1.87 meter, and then probably here you run up to 4 or 5 additional on the back, giving you 4 or 5 times 400 kilowatts, whatever you choose.
In a few weeks, when hurricane season is over, we will leave Annapolis and we will head down to Florida, where we've been absolutely assured that the Leopard dock will be waiting for us, ready to jump into action and sort out all the outstanding warranty items. And hopefully, shortly after that, we will be free of any of the warranty stuff that has hindered us since we've left Cape Town, over a year ago, and we'll be off to the Bahamas trouble-free. We will absolutely keep you updated on how that all unfolds.